everyone. Welcome to the Pixelated Perfect podcast. I am super excited to chat with Federico here with us. Thanks, Federico, for joining.
Thank you for hosting me. Yeah.
Of course. So Federico is actually a designer at the Design Project right now. He's been with us for about like a year and a half now, something like that.
Yeah.
Crazy. So yeah, he's been with us since almost the beginning. An amazing product designer. He's worked on some really interesting projects for us with some of our customers. So I'm sure we can dive a little deeper into some of those as well. But I'm super excited to have you, Federico, and I'm excited for you to kind of tell your story of how you got started and kind of what you're working on today with us. So yeah, thanks so much for being here.
Awesome.
So yeah, tell us, start from the beginning.
From the beginning. Okay. Since I was a kid, so about 30 years ago, no, I'm joking. I was pretty young. I was around 12, 13 when I realized I really wanted to be a designer, but I didn't know what kind of designer. At the beginning was more inclined to be a fashion designer, clothes designer. Then I changed my mind and was more towards furniture design, industrial design. And that was about in high school. And then after high school, I realized I was interested in graphic design. So I started 3 years university course in Venice, in Italy. And I realized after that, still graphic design was a right thing to do back then. But when I had the possibility to start an internship here in London, so I moved from Italy to London, and then after a while, I had this opportunity to start working for big tech company as an intern, and they had this, digital studio, London digital studio, and this other designer was really focused into digital. So that was the first time I heard the UX UI words in my life, and I was really interested in doing that. So I can consider that as part of my, basically the beginning of my career as a UX UI designer. And yeah, soon after that, I started, kind of working and doing some freelancing work. But it wasn't enough. And so I decided to start a boot camp like 2.5 years ago, I guess. And that was a game changer. That was at the beginning of the pandemic as well. So I was 2020 and I started this course at Flatiron School in UX UI design, and was the first boot camp in Europe from Flatiron. And that was my best choice so far. They were like my teachers, and my ex teammates, my friends were amazing. That was the time where basically I had the chance to go deeper and studied and be mentored and taught on the major, UX UI word concept. I've been taught the design process, how to deal with many things, and was I think that was and now I'm here. I've been working with you for 1 year and a half. But after that experience, I worked in few other places before coming here. But that was my path. My story.
So tell me, well, actually, let's start from the beginning. Then we can kind of come back to this time. So I love that you started early, as like when you were 12 and 13 and when you really got into design. A lot of people, when I ask, like, tell me your story of design, they usually start from college. So I love that you've had this like passion for some kind of design since you were little. So that's awesome. And fashion designer, I didn't know that.
I don't know why.
Design.
I don't know why. But...
You're so fashionable, Fede. You're so fashionable. That's why.
Thank you.
So through your university course, and I have questions about, you got an internship as a graphic designer in London. And then you talked about like this other person that was more digital, and that was the first time you heard UI UX. So what kind of things were you working on at that internship when you were like envious of this other guy who got to do some UI UX?
So obviously, since I was an intern, and in 3 months you can achieve just as much, right? So the idea was to basically when I spoke with the manager there, to kind of have go over certain topics that they asked me to provide to them. So a list of things that I wanted to learn from out of this experience after the 3 months. So so I kind of listed out all the like a design process kind of phases, because this is, to me back then, made sense. Like I don't know much about it. I just want to learn everything. So I started there, and basically they made me work on a side project and on an app, or actually a website, that was a mobile version of one of their clients. So it's called Brightout. Basically, they sold everything, and in terms of, I think, digital products, devices, that sort of stuff, electronics. So the idea was to create like a marketplace for them that would help people lend and borrow their stuff. So that was the idea, and then obviously it was kind of fictional. So but with like my mentor like take it like seriously, in the fact of explain to me like, okay, now do a little bit of research, like what kind of and you start doing a little bit of research about competitors, and then a little bit of research about, they had some data about, for example, personas and those kind of things, but they were obviously not directly related to my project. But still, I was like going through this documentation, just get familiar with all of these, design methods, tools, and that was great. And then I remember pairing with this other guy doing the whiteboard, the kind of like to come up with some ideas. I forgot the name, but
like the whiteboard exercises,
and I guess that was great. That was the project. And after the 3 months, I was able to use Sketch to prototype, and to me that made me feel empowered, because I could make something similar to what we normally use, like an app, and that was the trigger. Like, made me feel even more inclined to choose UI design, let's say, because for me was a natural consequence of having studied, graphic design. I feel like that was it. But yeah, at the same time, they asked me if I was interested in UX design, but still after those 3 months, I was I don't know. They saw me that like they I had like a very good experience with all of them, but they were looking for some more UX oriented person candidate, and so from there, as I said, everything a little bit changed, and I had to find. I did other short courses to kind of enhance my skills and UI skills in the design lab to make some projects to get the opportunity to make a portfolio in the end that can be used to get like an interview, and
Right.
that was interesting. That was the plan, but still I felt like I didn't have enough for a solid
Yeah. Well, that's what I was gonna
experience.
ask is like, so it sounds like you were using Sketch. You had like you were doing UI and a little bit of UX.
Mhm.
So what was that catalyst for deciding to go to a boot camp? Because you weren't doing it completely from scratch. You had like
Mhm.
dabbled, I guess you would say,
Uh-huh.
in
Yeah.
UI UX design.
Yeah, I felt uh, I felt I needed to be prepared under every aspect of, from a design point of view, but also from a uh, like searching for a job point of view as well, and like be able um, to create something, promote myself in the right way with the right people supporting you, like not just one month, one sprint. That was my main reason. Feel
Okay.
like when I felt the whole course would have been, we teach you everything you need and is on our interest that you succeed. If you also want to succeed, we help you achieving that. We have these
Okay.
results. So I felt like, okay, we are doing this full time for 6 months. Okay, that makes sense. And yeah, that was the
So
main
yeah,
reason.
it was like that mentorship and that ability to know that you were
Mentorship,
going to have like case studies and like real like
yeah,
experience you could put into that portfolio and to
yeah.
help you get that job.
But yeah, and something super valuable is the coach that you like, the mentor coach after you finish. So she follows you and to make you like incredibly good. Let's say I'm not incredibly good, but still like she gave us so many techniques, so many advice, so many tips and tricks on how to like still valuable like now, not just for that moment
Yeah.
in
Like
time.
what? What's an example of some of the tips and tricks she gave you?
Well, okay, from the CV, from the way you write your CV, use actionable, powerful verbs. Write them like write your experience, what you do, in a way that is, I did that because of this, and and this is the result, right? And even my friends, I can look at their CV and they don't, even though they describe what they did, but if just this simple way, like of building the sentence is already something. This can be something that I learned from there, but
Right.
also you can use some tools to scan the job offer, and those capture, like you can use what's the name of the cloud tool, so you can see what kind of words have been used the most, and so you can use them to reach out to them, and put these words in your cover letter, in your CV as well. Or another thing would be like reaching out people that work in the company, are interested in applying for, and then maybe when is the moment, just is, you are prepared because you've been introduced, or you met this guy, you had a conversation, they maybe told you something that you didn't know.
Yeah. No, that's great. And so with this like coach and after taking this course, how long until you got that next job?
Right, 3 months.
Oh, okay. Oh,
and
that's
and
awesome.
and that because I feel, so this is this delivery company, sorry, that is not existing, has been acquired from another group. But back then, what I did was, using their app, I downloaded the app and I tried their service, and I felt like that app could have been improved. So I knew, they gave me the opportunity to have this interview with the CEO, and I downloaded the app, I used it, I ordered something, I talked with the guy, the delivery guy, oh, what would you like to improve here? What do you feel like can be improved on your app? And then I made like a little presentation of the day of the interview. I presented the last 10 minutes. I told the guy, do you have 10 minutes? I want to show you something. And then was like an improvement of a certain feature, like the map where you see the guy where he is and that sort of stuff. And that was a no-brainer for him, because I show in that moment something that maybe not everyone would do, right? But this
Yeah.
is something that I learned from the coach, the mentor coach.
Yeah.
And
That's
that was
awesome. Yeah, that's super awesome. I mean, I think like for any listeners out there that are looking for that first gig after their boot camp, I think that's a really awesome way of like standing out from all the other candidates.
Yeah,
That's really cool. I love that.
that's power. That's powerful. That's really
Yeah,
powerful.
totally. And it's like you're literally showing your process, your UX
Yeah.
UI process. Very cool.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be complicated. But
Right, exactly. Just showing like you're putting an effort and you care about the company.
sure.
So let's talk about, I think, is that the job that you had before joining the design project, or did you have a couple of gigs? How many?
No, that was the one before.
Okay, so let's talk about your role at the design project. I think one of the things that I'm excited to talk with you about on this podcast is like some of the customers that you've worked with and some of the really interesting like problems that you've been solving. Because I know you've solved really cool problems, and I think other people would like to hear like how you like went from boot camp grad, first job out of boot camp, to where you are today, which is like a mid to senior level designer working with our customers solely, completely on your own, understanding their problems and solving their problems. So like, I guess putting you on the spot, what was your favorite project that you've worked on at the design project so far?
Right. That's not easy.
There's too
I-
many
No,
great projects.
that's not easy. Because I mean, I enjoy working and doing some even of my recent customers that I'm working with. I think my answer would be more towards like the one that I have more fun. We all know it's probably Souk, but in terms of like that type of company, things that they were asking me to think of that are a bit extra or not, like in terms of I don't know, interactions,
Right.
animations, and then give me this sort of like Spotify playlist to come up with a brand idea that was aligned to this like a techno kind of Spotify playlist,
Yes.
but also like think about movies like Matrix, or like I don't know, like Blade Runner. And so like I did this, like I watched
like
Blade
went
Runner
deep
one, like
into
to go
like
deep.
the
Yeah,
experience.
exactly. That was fun. I think yeah. I think and also uh, like the project itself uh, was very actual um, and mainstream, and so and
Yeah,
learn something that is how can you say like on um, like is what all the people talk about basically. Crypto
right. Yeah,
is the
and
thing
yeah,
of the moment. Has been for a
totally.
while, but I
I was
didn't know
like,
much about it, so for me it was also an experience, trying to
yeah,
learn a little bit more. That was in total
yeah.
was yeah.
I love that. No, and just like a little background for people. So it was our customer
Hmm.
who was building essentially a blockchain NFT platform, a lot of other details of why it was so cool. But one of the things
Hmm.
that I think really stood out from that project that you worked on, Federico, is like, and some of your strengths is like, you kind of mentioned this in the beginning, like UI, you really like UI. Like, you got super deep into Figma, and what you built from a prototype perspective was something I
Hmm.
haven't ever seen before. Like, so for the audience, like this prototype that Federico built, like it had animations, it had visual, like you could like feel and interact with this prototype and like see, and it was kind of like brought to life, like this vision for this crypto like web3 capabilities that we could do. And maybe you can kind of like explain a little bit about um like prototyping and creating some of those like animations and
Yeah, like when to basically to help me in building and designing the dashboard, like the main, let's call it the main dashboard for them, where which is a portfolio platform where someone can see whatever he holds in terms of NFT and FT. But was there need to be very visual. So with some motion where I don't know, like the cover, for example, at the top of the page had uh, these how we call like the logo of the game, like rotating
it's like
and
a 3D
like
rotation.
3D, yeah, with like a shiny and reflex of this coin that was flipping, and also everything from there, like when you were hovering certain things, trigger the animation itself, and that was kind of exciting. um, I feel like someone would uh, use it and be like pleased,
Yes.
because it's something that not very very common, let's say.
Yeah.
But it was interesting to see all of these effects, all these like there was a carousel of cards that was, and the cards were every time someone clicked on the arrow to see the next one, the card itself was flipping, and those kind of effects that eventually they have deals, and seeing them on Discord, then when they were promoting on their to their audience, that was kind of cool. See
Yeah.
all of this in place.
It was, yeah, super cool. We'll have to like link in the podcast so people can see. What for other designers that are looking to do more prototyping animation, like what was your process to learn some of those skills in Figma? Like were you
Mm.
using like YouTube tutorials? How are you figuring out how to
Yeah. So it depends. It's a mix of things, I guess. Yeah, learning like depends what your goal is. But if you want to uh, get skill in animation, I mean that's also another job, if we wanna say, if we can
yes.
say that.
So maybe we
Um,
can talk about like as a product designer, animating in Figma to kind of bring a prototype to life versus, yes, I think that's a good distinguish. Like if you want to do animation, that is definitely like its own amazing path, but you are a product designer and you're animating within that product
Yeah.
design space.
I think YouTube as the main resources, it would help for everything. But I would um, I would not go too crazy with interaction in prototype because you, unless you work for no Disney, and then something that has to be very 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 animated and very wanted in that sense. Animation can be not distracting, can distract the user in the end. So
Yes.
in general, also Figma community has an excellent kind of guidelines for interactions. I don't have a specific kind of manual book, or it's literally Google, I would say, and see like maybe go through some website where you can see, for example, Dribble, where you see certain things, but like only certain, because sometimes it's even too much there, but of what you can actually do in Figma. But yeah, I would just see there what other people do, or use the app, every app you like itself. Just study and stop. Like when you click something, what happened? What actually happened? Like try to break that into like the first step, then it opens up, and then it closes again. So just frame that in three pieces. Okay, that's the interaction that that just happened. That's what I try to do. Like, and I try like I try to do this at the beginning, and like it didn't work. But sometimes now I use apps, and I feel like, okay, this works like that because like I can frame it like I recognize that path, or
Right.
whether before it was just watching or looking at it passively. So maybe my advice is just try to use an app when get to studying. Okay, this has just happened. Like whether it's something that comes from the bottom up, or just slide, or it's just, I don't know, whatever effects.
I like that. I think that's great. Like actually using it, because like I think the big thing you caution is like animations are great as long as they're providing value. As soon as
Mm-hmm.
they're like too busy, then you're gonna lose the user. So like finding
Mm-hmm.
that balance of like, oh, this is really cool, and
Yeah,
usability.
yeah. Like the speed of how those things has like happened. That's important.
Yeah. I have an idea for TDP. I think we should have a Federico teaches Figma interactions course.
Oh,
So
yeah.
everyone out there, be on the lookout. Federico is going to teach
Yeah.
you.
But let me know in advance, because I'm just
Well, you'll put together a whole course. It'll be great. We'll get there.
okay.
Um, what else? What other? Is there any other project that kind of stands out, or anything that you've learned that's really like changed the game for you and how you design?
Yeah, I could say that is Anno, in terms of nothing was designed at all, and that was scary at the beginning, as well as, yeah, no, I was terrified to make mistakes everywhere because I the project was a little bit, no, complex in a sense, since there were like data scientists involved. They were talking about how to use machine learning, etc., to predict something that would happen, to just help. No, basically these. So Anno, to whoever doesn't know who Anno is a company that basically was we worked we work with, and we were trying to build this scheduling app to basically to help teams to figure it out, if the candidate while doing their no their courses were on time, if they will be finishing that course in time or not. But yeah, that project in general was the one that I I realized helped me a lot, boosting my confidence as well, because I didn't know many things, and starting from scratch and testing wireframes and build a dashboard that was in a sense like also complicated, um, like heavy data visualization type of thing.
Right.
For me was dealing with many things that I was uncomfortable or I didn't know, I didn't do before, and that was great in the end. It was very scary at the beginning.
Yeah, but I mean,
yeah.
I think that's like great advice to designers is like you were nervous going into building something from scratch because you hadn't had experience in that specifically,
Hmm.
but you kind of just dove in and you were like, let's see how it goes, and that you
Yeah.
got so many learnings from that and confidence from that, which is awesome. And I think that like set you up, and you're probably using some of those tools and techniques that you learned in all of your
Hmm.
projects today. So
That
like don't
was
be like, if you get an opportunity, like dive in and try it, and you might fail but you will
yeah
learn.
yeah. I
But
guess yeah. In
you did
those
not
cases, you
fail,
need
it
to
was a
work
success.
harder.
There, that as well, that as well.
Yeah, well, that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the other project that I feel like I keep talking about this, but I think your deep dive into design systems has been really interesting too, for one of our
Hmm.
customers. So like for designers out there, or even like customers, like can you talk a little bit about like the benefits of a design system and how it's helped
Hmm.
the our
Hmm.
customer Oxio?
Yeah, sure. Um, this is a project that has been it's been on for it's been going on for a while. Like it's been a year and a half since I started, and basically Oxio is creating has created this product, the main product, um, their white label product, and the so for them was uh, was mandatory, let's say, have a design system in place, because if we think about material design, this that the way they build that is and no is a product, is white level product itself. So we took inspiration from material design as part of the process, because it was new for both of us, um, and we tried to build, and we built uh, like a good design system for now, in terms of having set up all all the all the resources we need, basically um, to create to create future features. And also, what was interesting about this project was that um, basically for example, the marketing team, so they have their own customers, so their own customers need to apply their own brand to this Oxo product, let's call it this way. So we needed to find a way to create a product that was easy to change in terms of in terms of colors and look and feel, but still had the same kind of characteristic. Um, and so the design system is important in this sense, because it might be harder at the beginning, because you need to create everything from scratch and it takes time. but at the same time, it gives you like the benefit you're gonna benefit from that in the long run. And obviously, like I'm not an expert, and I feel like there's always something to learn. But yeah, still, that was that's my
Yeah. No, and yeah, I think it's like, I feel like we've talked a lot about Figma in today's session, but I think like what capabilities, like being able to build this design system, being able to take these components and change the branding, it's like so cool. It's like changing how the marketing team works and like the benefits of what a design system can do for a company and just speed up everything is really, really interesting. And seeing what you've put together is amazing. I mean, and you work really closely with the dev team too to make sure that like they understand how all the components are put together. You have like everything down to like the pixel defined and documented so that the developers can build these components and so that you can reuse them and the company can just move way quicker. It's really, really cool. So I feel like so we spent a lot of time talking about some of the work you did. So thank you for indulging me. But one of the last questions I want to ask you is like, where do you see yourself in the next like 5 years? Like what do you want to achieve? Where do you think your design career is going to go?
Right. So I think I told you this before, but for who doesn't know, ideally, like in my head, I'd like to experience as many things as possible in the next 3 years, and get a better sense of what I really like, and do that for another 5 years and be like get the best I can in that thing that I feel like is gonna be my favorite, and then who knows? I don't know. These are already 80 years, by the way, but yeah, ideally, I don't know now, but maybe have something in mind or just be like a manager, design manager. I don't know. Still early. I can still change my mind so many times. But ideally now is like focusing on learning as much as I can from different experience, whatever happens. I'm gonna be find something that I really like and then just focus on that for a while and get very good.
And I love that. And I've like seen the growth in the year and a half, like of when we brought you on, to like the confidence and like where you're going in your career, and like, the visual aspect of the designs that you do are really awesome. So like, I'm really excited to continue to follow along and help support you on your journey of becoming an expert or becoming a design manager. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see where you go. It's very exciting.
Thank you.
Well, Federico, nice. Thank you. Thanks so much for taking the time to chat with me about your design career and kind of where you came from, starting at age 12, 13, all the way up to now. I really appreciate it. And I will see you like tomorrow at work.
See you tomorrow. Thank you, Diane.
It was great.
Bye.